At the dinner table, just because of a plate of cola chicken wings, my stepson, whom I treated as my own, pointed at my nose in front of his silent father and scolded me for freeloading and spending his dad's money. The disgust in his eyes pierced my heart like a needle. 10 years of marriage, resigning from my job to stay at home, giving up having children. Is this what I get in return? Fine, this life of serving others, I'm done with it. At the dinner table, just because of a plate of cola chicken wings, my stepson Leo, whom I treated as my own, pointed at my nose in front of his silent father Mark and scolded me for freeloading and spending his dad's money. What is this thing you call chicken wings? It's disgusting. All you know is wasting money. He slammed his chopsticks down heavily, his face full of impatience. You do nothing at home all day. All you know is spending my dad's money. Are you worthy? The disgust in his eyes, like poison-tipped needles, densely pierced my heart. I looked at Mark, my husband. He kept his eyes down, as if he hadn't heard his son's vicious words, slowly picking up a chicken wing, without even looking at me. What have I sacrificed for this family in 10 years of marriage? I quit my job with an annual salary of hundreds of thousands to take care of him and his son full-time at home. For Leo, I gave up the right to have my own children. The doctor said that there would be a high risk if I had children at an older age. And Mark also said that Leo needed all of my motherly love. I believed it. For 10 years, I revolved around this family like a spinning top, buying groceries, cooking, washing clothes, mopping the floor, picking up and dropping off Leo from school, accompanying him to various expensive tutoring classes, and even carefully taking care of his adolescent rebelliousness and sensitivity. Is this what I get in return? One sentence said, eat and drink for free. Another said, spending his dad's money. My heart turned ice cold in an instant. Fine, this life of serving people, I'm done with it. At night, I lay in bed, wide awake. Mark was already snoring loudly beside me, as if the arguments of the day had never happened. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling in the dark, the scenes of Leo from childhood to adulthood flashing back in my mind. It's not that he doesn't remember how good I was to him. When he was little, he would hug my neck softly and sweetly and call me mommy, and he would offer me the little red flower he got from kindergarten as if it were a treasure. When did things start to change? It probably started when his biological mother, Sarah, started appearing frequently. Sarah is Mark's ex-wife. She had an affair that led to the divorce, and Leo was awarded to Mark. A few years after the divorce, Sarah probably wasn't doing so well outside, so she started using the excuse of visiting her son to run to our house every other day. Every time she comes, she brings all sorts of new and interesting toys and snacks, making Leo beam with joy. Then, she would say to Leo with a meaningful look, "Your stepmother is just not as good as your real mother, right? Look at the clothes she buys for you. How unfashionable. The food your stepmother makes. Is it as good as when your mother takes you out to eat? What's a girl doing with manicures? It doesn't look proper at all. Don't let her lead you astray." This was aimed at my occasional indulgence in manicures. And my mother-in-law, Mark's mother, Mrs. Davis, is also a master of the game. She always nags Leo in front of him. It's not easy for your dad to make money. Don't let your stepmother spend it all. You are the master of this family, and the family property will be yours in the future, so you must keep a close eye on it. After all, she's not your biological mother. There's a layer between you. What discernment can children have? If they hear something often enough, they'll naturally believe it. He started to nitpick my cooking, sneer at the clothes I bought, and constantly criticize my occasional relaxation and entertainment. Initially, I tried to communicate with Mark. Mark, Leo's attitude towards me has been very bad lately. Did Sarah and Mom say something to him? Mark always has that wishy-washy attitude. Olivia, you're overthinking it, right? Leo is still a child. What does he know? Besides, my mom and his mom care about him. It's all out of good intentions. He's almost in high school. Still a child? I couldn't help but raise my voice. He said the chicken wings I made were disgusting today, and that I freeloaded. Did you hear that? All right. Mark interrupted me impatiently. Kids don't know how to watch their words. Why are you arguing with him? You're the elder. Be more tolerant. Tolerant? My heart felt like it was soaking in ice water, sinking little by little. Yes, he is your son. He is immature. His own mother and grandmother say everything for his own good. Only I am an outsider. My dedication, my grievances, my sacrifices, are worthless in this family. At that moment, I finally understood everything. I can't go on like this anymore. It's too foolish to waste my life for this unworthy family, for this pair of indifferent father and son. I have to live for myself. The next morning, I didn't get up at 5:30 as usual to prepare breakfast. At 7 o'clock, Leo walked out of the room groggily, stunned to see the empty dining table. "Where's my breakfast?" He frowned, his tone very harsh. I sat on the sofa, looking through the job postings on my phone. Without even looking up, "I didn't make it." "Why didn't you make it? Do you want to starve me to death?" Leo's voice became sharp. "I won't cook anymore from now on." I calmly put down my phone and looked at him. "Figure out what you want to eat yourself. There are plenty of fast food restaurants outside. Or you can ask your dad to cook. Or find your biological mother." Leo looked as if he had heard a fantasy. His eyes widened. "What do you mean? You're my mom. If you don't cook, who will?" "I am not your mother." I said each word clearly. "At least, you don't treat me like one. Do you?" "You." Leo was so angry that his face turned red, and he picked up a pillow from the sofa and wanted to throw it at me, but Mark, who had just walked out of the bedroom, stopped him. "Leo, what are you doing?" Mark frowned and walked over, saw the empty table, and turned to me. "Olivia, what's going on? Why didn't you make breakfast?" I said. "I won't make it anymore." I repeated. "You." Mark's face darkened. "Just because Leo said a few words to you yesterday? Is it necessary for you to hold a grudge against a child?" He paused, his tone becoming accusatory. "I know Leo isn't your biological son, and you have a barrier in your heart, but you can't treat him like this. He is at the age when he needs to grow. How can he not eat?" Finally said it. "Not biologically related, so I don't care." So, in his heart, that's how he defined my 10 years of dedication. That's fine. I looked at Leo, who had a smug look on his face that said, "See, even my dad is on my side." I laughed so hard that tears almost came out. Yes, Mark is right. I turned to Leo, my tone icy. "You're not my biological son, so why should I feel sorry for you? Why should I wait on you? If you want to eat, want to wear clean clothes, want to live comfortably, go find your biological mother. She gave birth to you. She's the one who has the obligation to take care of you." There was a deathly silence in the living room. The smug look on Leo's face froze, turning into unbelievable shock. Mark was also stunned, his mouth open, as if he hadn't expected me to say something so decisive. "You, what did you say?" Leo's voice was trembling. I said, "Go find your biological mother, Shannan." I repeated, my heart completely calm. "She is so good, so loving to you. She will definitely take care of you meticulously." "You poisonous woman." Leo finally exploded. He roared hysterically. "I knew you had no good intentions. My mother is 10,000 times better than you. I never treated you as my mother. Get out. Get out of our house." He grabbed something from the table and threw it at me, but Mark stopped him. Mark seemed to be furious too, but more than that, he seemed embarrassed at having his disguise exposed. "Olivia, you've gone too far." Looking at the pair of fathers and sons with their ferocious faces, I only felt utter irony and ridiculousness. I said nothing, turned around and walked into the bedroom, closed the door, and locked it. Outside the door was Leo's continuous cursing and Mark's suppressed roar. My heart is like a stone thrown into a frozen lake in the dead of winter, silent, cold, without a trace of warmth. Enough. It's really enough. I opened my laptop and started revising my resume. Master of Finance, certified public accountant, formerly a project manager at a well-known consulting firm. For this family, I gave up my thriving career and willingly confined myself to the kitchen and love. Now, it's time to pick it up again. I sent my resume to several large multinational corporations and top accounting firms. Silence. Or, like a stone sinking into the sea. After all, I've been out of the workforce for 10 years, and my age isn't an advantage. As expected, but still a little disappointed, I rummaged through my phone's address book and found Alex's name. He was my college classmate and a former admirer, and now he is a partner at a well-known accounting firm, Apex Financials. After making the call and exchanging a few pleasantries, I explained my purpose. "Olivia, you want to go back to work?" Alex's voice was tinged with surprise, but more with joy. "That's great. Our firm happens to be short-handed, and with your abilities, there will definitely be no problem." He didn't ask me why I suddenly wanted to work, nor did he mention my family. "Thank you, Alex. Don't be so polite with me." He paused, his tone serious. But Olivia, coming back to work is hard and intense. Can you adapt? What about things at home? It's okay, I interrupted him. The child is not my biological child, and I will focus on work in the future. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. Okay, I got it. You are welcome to join Apex anytime. Hanging up the phone, I breathed a sigh of relief. The job is done. Next, I need to completely get rid of this suffocating home. I no longer clean, no longer do laundry, and no longer take care of any household chores. In just a few days, the house became a complete mess. Dirty clothes piled up on the sofa, leftover takeout containers were thrown on the coffee table, and the floor was sticky. Mark initially tried to argue with me. Olivia, look at what you've done to this house. Can't you clean up a bit? I leaned against the doorframe, watching his exasperated look, and said calmly, this is your house, and your son's house. You made the mess. You clean it up. Mark was speechless, and in the end, he could only do it himself, but he was clearly not good at it. And the house was still a mess. Leo complained even more. One morning, he found his school uniform was still dirty and stormed into my room in a rage. Where's my school uniform? Why hasn't it been washed? Wash it yourself. I was putting on makeup, not even lifting my eyelids. How would I know how to wash it? Then go find your own mother to wash it. I put down my eyebrow pencil and looked at him in the mirror. Or, go to school wearing it dirty. Leo was so angry that he cried loudly, but in the end, he had to take the dirty school uniform to the bathroom. Half an hour later, he came out wearing a wrinkled and stained school uniform, his face full of humiliation. Serves you right. Without my care, Leo's quality of life declined sharply. He basically relies on takeout for 3 meals a day, with hamburgers, pizza, and fried chicken taking turns. Before long, he visibly gained weight, and his face started breaking out like crazy. Mark, he can't even take care of himself, let alone his adolescent son. All he does is give money and then let Leo eat whatever he wants. I watched coldly, my heart as still as water. That day, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw Sarah, Leo's biological mother. She was dressed to the nines, holding a brand new game console box, the latest Switch. Leo, Mommy's here to see you. Sarah opened her arms as soon as she entered the door, her face full of loving smiles. Leo heard the voice and rushed out of the room like he had seen a savior, throwing himself into Sarah's arms and bursting into tears. Mom, you're finally here. Wah. He sobbed and accused. That bad woman abuses me every day. She doesn't cook for me, doesn't do my laundry, and doesn't give me pocket money. Mommy is still the best to me. Sarah held Leo, patting his back with heartache, but her eyes provocatively glanced at me. Good boy, don't cry, don't cry. Mommy's here. If she doesn't buy it for you, Mommy will. Look, this is the Switch you've always wanted. Leo immediately stopped crying and smiled, taking the game console, loving it. Thank you, Mommy. Mommy, you're so good. You're 10,000 times better than that stepmother. She never wants to spend money on me. Doesn't want to spend money? I almost laughed in anger. He forgot that last summer vacation I spent over 100,000 to send him to the Antarctic Science Summer Camp. Forgot the nearly 200,000 yuan a year for one-on-one tutoring classes over the past few years. Forgot the latest sneakers and electronic products that I bought for him whenever he casually mentioned them. How many Switches could all these investments buy? So, you're going to be bought off by Sarah several hundred yuan red envelope and a game console worth a few thousand yuan? What an ungrateful wretch. The last trace of reluctance and hesitation in my heart has completely disappeared. The next day, I called all of Leo's tutoring teachers and cancelled all the classes. Sorry teacher, we will not continue with Leo's tutoring class. Reason? No reason. We just won't continue. In the evening, Leo discovered that he could not log into his frequently used online tutoring platform account and came to question me. Why can't I access my tutoring class? Did you do something? I stopped it. I admitted frankly, I will not be responsible for any of your educational expenses in the future. I have no money. You have no money? Leo screamed. Didn't you find a job? You're doing this on purpose. Yes, I'm doing it on purpose. I looked at him and said, who told you to say I'm unwilling to spend money on you? Go ask your dear mother. She's so rich. She'll definitely be willing to spend money on you. Leo was trembling with anger, pointing at me and stuttering you for a long time, unable to say a complete sentence. Finally, he slammed the door and left. He went to Mark to complain. Mark came to me very quickly. Olivia, did you cancel Leo's tutoring class? He asked, suppressing his anger. Renew it for him quickly. The high school entrance exam is coming up soon. His studies can't be delayed. I have no money. I spread my hands. You know, I just started this job, and I haven't been paid much yet. Besides, educating our son is your and Sarah's responsibility, not mine. Mark was frustrated. Sarah sighed. You can go discuss it with her. I interrupted him. After all, she's his biological mother. For her son's future, she should be willing to pay this little bit, right? Mark's face was very ugly. Of course, he knew what kind of person Sarah was, but he still bit the bullet and called Sarah. I could hear him in the living room, lowering his voice in an almost pleading tone, and Sarah's unrelenting refusal on the other end of the phone. Mark, get this straight. The son was awarded to you. I haven't shorted you a penny on child support. Why should I pay for education? I have no money. If you want him to go, figure it out yourself. Mark hung up the phone with a livid face. Leo stood beside him, hearing roughly what was said, his small face pale and his eyes vacant. Dad, it's nothing. Mark forced a smile, trying to reassure him. If you don't go to the tutoring class, you don't go. You're so smart. You can learn at home by yourself. I chimed in at the right time. That's right, Leo. You have to believe in yourself. Leo dejectedly returned to his room, watching Mark's feigned composure. I sneered inwardly. This is just the beginning. I started secretly packing my things, contacting friends in my hometown, and inquiring about job opportunities there. Divorce, move out, leave this quagmire, the sooner the better. Just then, my mother-in-law, Mrs. Davis, who hadn't visited for a long time, suddenly came to my door. As soon as she entered the door and saw the messy living room and Leo eating takeout, she immediately exploded. My God, what has this house become? Olivia, what kind of wife and stepmother are you? The house is a mess. The kids are eating junk food. Are you trying to torment Mark and Leo to death? She scolded while lovingly pulling Leo over. My good grandson, have you been wronged? Look how thin you are. That woman definitely didn't take good care of you. Leo immediately put on a dramatic performance, hugging his grandma and crying about my crimes. I watched the grandmother and grandson acting coldly, without saying a word. Mrs. Davis had scolded enough, and was probably also hungry, so she decided to cook a nutritious meal for her precious grandson herself. The result, indescribable. Either too much salt was added, or the vegetables were burnt. Leo took a bite and immediately spat it out. This is awful. What is this stuff? I'm not eating it. He pushed the bowl away and started to throw a tantrum. I want to eat out. Give me money, or order me some takeout. Mrs. Davis's face turned green and white. She probably didn't expect her carefully prepared meal to be so disliked by her grandson. Good grandson, Grandma's cooking is nutritious. I don't want nutrition. I just want delicious food. Give me money, Leo insisted. Mrs. Davis reluctantly took out $10 from her wallet. In America, this is probably only enough to buy a simple hot dog. Only $10? Are you trying to get rid of a beggar? Leo threw the money on the ground and cursed uncleanly. Old thing, so stingy. After speaking, he slammed the door and went out. Mrs. Davis was left trembling with anger, her face pale. Mark stood beside her, veins popping on his forehead, clearly also very angry. I sat on the sofa, almost unable to stop myself from laughing. It really is a case of the wicked being punished by the wicked. I clearly remember how Mrs. Davis used to instigate Leo behind his back. Your dad's money is your money. If you want to buy something, have your stepmother buy it for you. If she doesn't, she's stingy and doesn't really care about you. You're the oldest in the family. You don't have to watch her face. She's an outsider. Serving you is what she should do. Now she's getting a taste of being disliked and insulted by her precious grandson? Serves you right. After dinner, the kitchen was left in a complete mess. Mrs. Davis naturally ordered me, Olivia, go wash the dishes. I didn't even move. I won't wash them. You, Mrs. Davis was about to explode again. What kind of daughter-in-law are you? You have no manners at all. Our Mark was really blind to marry you. If you want the bowl clean, have your son wash it. I pointed at Mark. Or, you can do it yourself. Old lady, Mark complained with a reluctant face. Olivia, how are you getting lazier and lazier? I was too lazy to pay attention to him and got up to go back to the bedroom. In the end, it was Mrs. Davis, who grumbled and reluctantly washed the dishes. I lay in bed, listening to the clatter from the kitchen, a cold smile creeping onto my lips. The real show is yet to come. A few days later, an even more dramatic scene unfolded. Mrs. Davis, unable to swallow the fact that her grandson disliked her cooking, made another meal and insisted that Leo eat it. Leo refused, and the two began to argue. In the chaos, Leo impatiently pushed her. Mrs. Davis was old and unsteady, and she fell directly to the ground with a scream. After examination at the hospital, her arm was found to be fractured. This is getting interesting. Mark immediately demanded that I take leave to go to the hospital to take care of his mother. Olivia, my mother came to take care of Leo, and now she is injured. You must take leave to go to the hospital to take care of her. His tone was unquestionable. Sorry, I can't go. I took out the prepared statement. Our department is currently striving for performance, and I am trying to get a raise. Taking leave will affect my evaluation. Besides, that / your mother, not mine. It is only right that you, her son, take care of her. You. Mark was so angry that he couldn't speak. In the end, he had to ask for leave himself. Running between the hospital and home, I took the opportunity to transfer all my savings accumulated after work to my parents. I won't leave a single penny in this family anymore. Without my subsidy, Mark has to pay for his mother's medical expenses and cope with Leo's daily expenses, which has greatly increased his financial pressure. Leo doesn't seem to realize the family's predicament at all and continues to spend money lavishly. Today he asks Mark for $500 to buy game skins, and tomorrow he wants $1,000 to buy limited edition sneakers. Mark's patience has finally reached its limit. $500? $1,000? Do you think my money grows on trees? Mark roared at Leo, who was once again reaching out for money. What else can you do besides spend money? You can't study well, and all you know is to ask me for money. How did I raise such a vampire like you? I don't care. All my classmates have it. I want it too, Leo retorted stubbornly. No money for you. Go earn it yourself if you have the ability, Mark said exasperatedly. If you don't have the ability, then don't be my son. Then I won't be your son. Leo also went all out, retorting rashly, do you think you're so great? You're useless. You couldn't even keep your wife. After saying that, he slammed the door and ran out again. Mark clutched his chest, gasping for breath in anger, his face pale. Ungrateful little beast. It's a waste of raising him, he cursed through gritted teeth. I walked to his side, gently patted his back, and said in the same tone he once used to comfort me, Mark, don't be angry. Leo is still a child. He's immature, and children don't know how to weigh their words. Why are you arguing with him? You're the elder. Be more generous. Mark's body stiffened suddenly, and he raised his head to look at me in disbelief. I returned a gentle smile. Treat him as he treats others. Satisfying. Mrs. Davis was discharged from the hospital, but the gloomy atmosphere at home didn't improve at all. Worse news came. Leo's high school entrance exam scores were released, and he was a full 10 points short of the key high school's passing score. This meant that he would either have to go to the worst public high school in the area, or spend a lot of money, about $100, USD, to pull strings and get into a decent private school. Of course, Leo refused to go to a bad school, crying, screaming, and making a scene at home. I don't want to go to a garbage school. I want to go to a good high school. Dad, please think of a way. Mark looked worried. Where would he get $100? He subconsciously looked at me. I immediately said, don't look at me. I just started working, and I haven't received much salary yet. I sent all the money I saved before back to my parents. They haven't been feeling well lately. This is the truth. The money was indeed transferred. Leo immediately turned his blame on me. It's all your fault. If you hadn't stopped my tutoring classes, I definitely would have gotten in. Oh? I raised my eyebrows. Are you sure it's the tutoring classes' fault? Not because you're always thinking about playing games? Besides, even if you didn't get in, your dad and your biological mother are the ones who should be responsible. What does it have to do with me? You. Leo was so angry he jumped up and down. I kindly suggested, you can ask your biological mother, Sarah, for money. I remember she got a nice house when she divorced. For your future, 100,000 yuan shouldn't be a problem for her, right? I deliberately emphasized the words real mother. Leo's eyes lit up, as if he thought it was a good idea. Speak of the devil. Sarah came again in less than 2 days. This time, the gifts she brought were noticeably less generous. Just some snacks and a few $100 in red envelopes. She explained apologetically, "Son, Mom was a little tight on money last time. I'm making it up to you this time." Leo didn't care about the amount of the gifts at all. He threw himself into her arms again, crying and complaining about the sins of me and Mark, expressing how much he missed his own mother, and how much he wished she could come back. Sarah held him, comforting him softly, but a glint of calculation flashed in her eyes. "I know why she's back. From what I've heard, the man Sarah was with on the outside dumped her. She's also picked up a gambling addiction and is heavily in debt. This time, she's back to get money from Mark to pay off her debts." Watching this scene of motherly love and filial piety, Mark's expression became very complex. There was guilt towards his son, lingering feelings for his ex-wife, and even a hint of wavering about getting back together. In the following days, Sarah came even more frequently. She no longer just looked at her son, but also began to show concern for Mark, and even occasionally cooked 2 dishes that Mark liked to eat. Mark's attitude softened visibly. Finally, one evening, Mark called me into the study. "Olivia," he took a deep breath, his eyes flickering, "let's get divorced." Before I could say anything, Leo, who had been eavesdropping at the door, rushed in. "Great, Dad, you're finally divorcing this bad woman." He danced with excitement, then glared at me viciously. "Get out. My real mom is coming back. This family doesn't welcome you, you vicious stepmother." Looking at his face, twisted with excitement and resentment, all the grievances and bitterness I had suppressed for 10 years completely vanished at that moment. "That's fine." I looked at Mark. He avoided my gaze and nodded with difficulty. "Olivia, I'm sorry, Leo. He needs his biological mother. I agree to the divorce," I said calmly, my voice devoid of any emotion. Leo cheered immediately and started pushing me impatiently. "Did you hear that? Get out. Get out with your things. Don't hang around our house." He rushed into my bedroom and threw out all my clothes and cosmetics, scattering them all over the floor. "You barren hen, you deserve to be unwanted. When you're old, I'll see who takes care of you in your old age. Just wait to die alone." He cursed me with the most vicious language, his face filled with the pleasure of revenge. Mark stood aside, not stopping him, even tacitly approving of his son's behavior. My heart was completely cold, as hard as a rock. I ignored the things scattered on the floor, only picked up the suitcase I had already packed, and took one last look at this home where I had devoted 10 years of my youth but which was like a nightmare, and the indifferent and selfish father and son. Then, I turned around and left without looking back. I returned to my hometown, a peaceful seaside town. With Alex's recommendation and my professional skills, I quickly found a position as CFO at a well-known local company. Work is busy, but fulfilling. I have rediscovered a sense of self-worth that I had lost for a long time. My parents are happy to see that I have finally escaped that quagmire. Although they feel sorry for what I went through in the past, they are mostly happy for me. Life seems to have finally returned to normal, calm and full of hope. 3 months later, a strange number called. I answered, and it was my mother-in-law, Mrs. Davis, with a tearful voice. "Olivia, please come back. I beg you." She was crying her heart out on the phone. Our family is finished." I listened quietly. It turned out that after I left, Mark actually remarried Sarah, but the good times didn't last, and Sarah quickly revealed her true colors. She forced Mark to sell their only house to pay off her gambling debts. The money was paid back, but Sarah's gambling addiction wasn't broken, and she quickly accumulated new debts. She secretly took the property certificate to mortgage for a loan, and as a result, the house was taken away by the bank. Mark and Sarah argued every day, even becoming physical. Sarah also ruined Mark's job, and he was unemployed at home, feeling dejected. After squeezing all the money out, Sarah completely turned against Leo, losing patience and constantly beating and scolding him. The couple was arguing about getting divorced again, but shirked responsibility for Leo's custody. Neither wanted this burden. In the end, Mark kicked Leo out of the temporary rented house. Leo, having nowhere else to turn, went to find his best biological mother, Sarah. As a result, Sarah not only didn't take him in, but also pointed at his nose and cursed at him, slapped him several times, admitted that she had never sincerely loved him, and had only been using him from beginning to end, using him to deal with me and Mark, and using him as a tool to get close to Mark and swindle money. "Olivia, Come back and take care of Mark and Leo." "Mrs. Davis cried, gasping for breath. "I know you've been wronged, but Mark knows he's wrong now. Leo knows he's wrong too. You can't ignore them. Besides, you don't have your own children, and you won't even have someone to rely on when you're old." "Here we go again. Using me not having children to morally blackmail me," I sneered. "That's your own fault. It has nothing to do with me." After speaking, I hung up the phone directly and blocked all contact information for the Mark family. They brought it upon themselves. I thought the matter would end there, but unexpectedly, a few days later, Leo actually found my hometown. When he appeared at my door, he was dirty and thin, his hair greasy and matted in clumps, like a homeless man. Seeing me, he knelt on the ground with a thump, hugging my legs and crying loudly, "Mom, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please forgive me. Come back. Only you are truly good to me. I will definitely be filial to you in the future. I'll take care of you in your old age and bury you when you die." He was crying with tears and snot running down his face, and he really looked miserable. If it were before, I might have been soft-hearted, but now, I just feel incredibly disgusted. Truly repentant? No, he's just desperate and has no one to take care of him. That's why he remembers how good I was. The selfishness and stupidity in his bones haven't changed at all, both stupid and evil. I calmly looked at him. "I'm not your mother. You've mistaken me for someone else." "No, you are my mother. Even my own mother isn't as good as you," he cried and shouted, trying to move me with his tears. "Put away your tricks." I pulled my leg back in disgust. "You are not sincerely repenting. You are just uncared for, without food, and without a place to live. People like you are stupid, selfish, rotten to the core, and not worthy of sympathy." I opened the door and pointed outside. "Get out. I'll call the police if you don't." Leo looked at me in disbelief, as if he didn't expect me to be so heartless. I was expressionless, my heart as hard as iron. I will no longer be soft-hearted and will not give them the opportunity to hurt me again. Mark and Leo didn't give up, and afterwards tried to contact me and pester me in various ways. In order to get rid of them completely, I applied to the company for an overseas assignment. New environment, new beginning. Abroad, I met Mr. Stevens, a gentle and refined university professor. We got to know each other, fell in love, and started a new family. A year later, I gave birth to a lovely daughter, Lily. Lily is like a little angel. She would hold my neck with her soft little hands and sweetly call out "Mommy," and would rush to give me a big hug when I came home from work. My daughter's smile and dependence completely healed my past pain. 3 years later, I returned to China with my husband and daughter. I happened to hear about Mark's family's situation from my old classmate Alex. Mark developed late-stage lung cancer due to long-term alcoholism and depression, and he doesn't have much time left. His elderly parents had to go back to work in the fields to save money for his treatment. Sarah disappeared completely. Some say she was burdened with gambling debts and was sold to Southeast Asia. No one knows whether she is alive or dead. As for Leo, he dropped out of school and became a street hooligan, idling around and getting into fights every day. Eventually, he was sentenced to 13 years in prison for a serious assault. Hearing this, I felt no emotion, not even a sigh. They have come to this point today as a result of their own choices, and they can't blame anyone. In the evening, my daughter Lily showed me her drawing. The drawing showed 3 little figures, holding hands, standing in the sunlight. "Mommy, Daddy, and Lily," she pointed at the drawing, her eyes crinkling into crescents as she smiled. The sunlight streamed in through the window, shining on my daughter's bright smiling face, and also illuminating every corner of my heart. I hugged my daughter tightly, feeling this belated warmth and happiness. Those bitter past experiences are truly over. The future will be better.